Okay. Guys, this week we were going to talk about trust and integrity. Van, like I said, has asked us to keep it a little bit short, so we'll just focus on the trust part. Now, this little introductory video is talking more about an investment firm, so we can kind of take that part out and plug in what we do for Family Heritage. But I really liked what he said. I think it's super applicable to what we do too.
They can ask us the questions that they want to ask to get the comfort level to say, why do we own this company? What's the investment merit of owning X as opposed to Y? And I think, again, that creates confidence and trust on the part of the client. It's incumbent upon us to develop as much skill and as much understanding and be as strong of communicators as we possibly can be, so that the clients that do entrust their life's capital to us feel confident that they're working with people that understand what their needs are strongly skilled to meet those needs, and can develop a really good, open, authentic communication. Without trust, we really don't have a business.
I think our clients value trust the most in a relationship, next to expertise, of course, but trust, you wouldn't have a relationship if you didn't have trust.
So I had a friend once tell me, Edson Bridges is the one person that I would trust with my money, my life, and my wife. That level of trust is what I personally would hope that each of my clients would look at me and say the same about me 10, 20 years down the road.
We invest the time for each one of our clients. You're not just a number, you're not just an account. It's a relationship, and it's a relationship built on trust. And it's a relationship that we invest a lot of time into in order to do it right.
We truly, as a staff, believe that for our business to be successful, we need to build those relationships. We need to build that trust with our clients. And if we can continue to do that, both us and the clients will be successful.
Guys, any thoughts on that? Maybe kind of connecting it to what we do.
Hey, Trish. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Clients, people don't buy because of the product that we sell. I mean, it helps. They buy because of the person that they're talking to. So just remember, you are having a lasting impact with everybody you sit down with, and they become clients of yours. They're not going to go home and remember that it pays them $800 a day. They're not going to go home and remember that if they get diagnosed with cancer, it's going to pay them $6,000. They're going to remember sitting down with you and the conversations that you've had with them that day. And that's why they're going to keep their policy for years and years to come. So that's kind of what I got from it.
Josie, thank you. And Josie, thank you for saying that, because that's actually profoundly hit me more so this summer. I don't know why it's taken so long, but I'm blonde. People, yes, they are actually buying the Family Heritage products, but you could have a person who doesn't have high ability, doesn't have high knowledge, isn't compassionate towards them. And are they gonna take advantage of Family Heritage? No. I've trained people, and Josie, Brandy, I'm sure you have too, that could do our sales talk word for word, spot on, perfect, but they had no compassion. They had no empathy.
Yeah.
How successful do you think they were?
They're not going to be successful.
Nope. No. What does Brad say? You can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person. Just like Josie said, they remember how you make them feel, how you sat. Sorry, Greg.
I was just going to say that's very true. People, it is an emotional sale, but it's also very much a relational sale. People can get emotional about things. Mm-hmm. You can paint the need, you can paint the picture for them. But if you're not genuine and you don't really have a heart for people, that resonates with them. They can pick up on that.
Yep.
And You know, that's probably one. And like you said, like Brad said, you know, you could say the right thing to the wrong person, the wrong thing to the right person. It doesn't matter.
No,
But
it
I have
does.
seen myself bubble through one where I just didn't know what I was saying. I just was kind of trying to wing it when I first started out. Yet they picked up the coverage because, you know, they saw the need and, you know, they trusted me. And I think that goes a long way into not just that, but also to, you know, keeping, you know, work on the books, because they're not
Yeah.
going to remember, like you said, they're going to remember, well, I get paid $3,000 if I get diagnosed. They're going to remember all that stuff. What they're going to remember is how you made them feel. That sizzle wears off in a very short time.
Because that's why, and I know Van sent a note out this week, and I just want to take a second. This is something I do probably 95% of the time. I have a couple I need to send from 2 weeks ago, which is long. Usually 99% of the time after I protect a family, the next day or the day after, sometimes I wait until I get those alerts that have their policy numbers. I write them a handwritten thank you note. I also put one of my cards in there with their policy numbers on them. If I have a business owner that, you know, gives me a sit down or even lets me do an introduction, even if nothing is set up, I send the thank you card. I walked into a car dealership yesterday, and they haven't arranged anything for me yet. But you know what I saw over on his side, the side of his desk on his wall? My thank you card. It may sound simple, taking 2 minutes to write a thank you note and put it in the mail. Because just like Greg and Josie said, they're not going to remember a month or 2 months, 3 months from now what the benefits are. They are going to remember, hey, you know, Greg really cared about our family. Josie really worked within our budget. And that's what keeps the business on the books.
Hey, Trish.
Yeah, Ken.
I just want to second and third that, because thank you notes is something that I have not always done. I've been around for a while. I'll tell you, since I've been doing it consistently, it dramatically changes your A to T ratio. And people just once they get that thank you note, you know, that just kind of seals the deal. So if I write a policy today, I'm sending out a thank you note the next day. And it's simple. The handwritten ones, like I picked these up from like Walmart.
Yep, same thing.
You know, and just write, you know, a simple.
Ken, I have those blue ones, Ken. Same ones.
You got the blue ones?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, those are gold. So yeah, so if you guys don't do that, I mean, I encourage you to those little boxes there. It's $10 for like 40 of them, I think, at Walmart.
And if anybody's not sure what to say in a thank you note, you know, give Ken a call, give me a call, give Josie, Brandy, you know, Greg a call. We'll help you. I mean, it's, you know, I probably write 3-4 lines. Something like, thank you for the honor and opportunity to protect and serve your family. It means a lot to me that you put your faith and trust in family heritage and in me. Please don't ever hesitate to let me know if I can serve you in any way. Best, Trish. Yep. Guys, that's simple. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out. You know, if it's a fire chief or a business owner, thank you for the honor and opportunity to protect and serve you and your staff. I look forward to a long-term relationship. It goes a long way, guys. All right, one last thing before we flip. Family I met with last night, the wife actually had a family heritage cancer plan back from 2013. So we went over her plan too. She had no idea that she could have wellness benefits. We owe her $1,050 in the last 7 years of wellness benefits. Plus, she had a 5-day ICU stay. That's another $4,500. She had no idea. And she literally said to me, it is so refreshing to sit with someone that not only knows their product so well, but generally cares about me and my family.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, guys, thank you for letting me share it. It does happen. I mean, that just blows me away. Whoever her agent was, and I don't think he's with us. I know he's not with us anymore. She had no idea.
Yep. I think that's another thing that's important. Something that I caught on to late, but reservicing your client list, and that allows you to simply just let people understand that they could be owed money, because many people forget about the benefits. Just like Josie said, it's not the money that we pay out, is that they trust us, to take care of them like we said we would.
Exactly.
And so if you've been here any amount of time, like I'm about to order my reservice list, the most updated one today.
Yeah.
But also, if you're in a turf where another agent has been but no longer works with the company, you can also service reservice orphan clients, and just kind of reassuring them, helping them out, and that opens the door to referrals. It opens the door to you being able to add on to whatever they have already. So we most definitely want to be resurfacing our client list.
Can you know too?
Hey, Ken.
Yes.
Sorry.
Ken, I had a real quick question on that, man. I sent Kyle a text a couple of days ago. I've been doing this now for 7 months, and I'm thinking at the 6-month mark, I need to start going back and making contact with these folks and just talking to them and saying, hey, just want to check and see if you've had any kind of wellness checks or anything that's happened during this time period, that we may owe you money for. And just starting the reservicing process. But how do you request a reservicing list? Maybe I'm not going about it the right way. So I called customer service and they said to go through your manager.
All right. So here's what I would do. I would get him. I would reach out to Nicole Damewood in the Nashville office. That's our executive assistant, and she can request that for you. And you don't have to go straight to the home office, and you don't necessarily have to talk to Kyle about it either. If you need that list, you can just request it through Nicole.
Okay, and that's kind of what I figured, because that's my client list, and I don't want to lose people because they think I'm just not paying attention. I am paying attention. I just want to make sure that I have the right way of going about to get that list, because this is the first time I've requested one. So
yeah, just send Nicole an email.
I appreciate that.
Greg, what little suggestion about Nicole, because she gets super busy. If you send Nicole a note and you're asked for something, what I find, for me, if I copy Van on it, or for you, I'd copy Kyle. That does help. And Nicole is really busy, but she does her best to get back to us. And
she's the executive assistant for the entire legacy organization. So
I'm just I'm still learning. I was let me get through customer service. Maybe I always try to start with them, but so cool. I appreciate it. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, no, guys, we're all still learning, and absolutely great. One thing I was going to do for my reservice is, I honestly didn't reservice until I started working during COVID, and I was a little nervous about, calling clients from 2 years ago, but they were super excited to hear from me. And my intention for the new year is every month call the clients that started their initial coverage in that month. So that way I'm touching base at least once a year with everybody.
Right. And again, can I just share this real quick, Trish? I know we're kind of short on time, but I came on during the COVID crisis.
Yeah.
I had never worked in the field with this company. And so everything was Zoom to me, and they were giving us these term notices. So all these people that I was calling were people that actually had our policies. And it was a lot easier using that script, just calling them up and saying, hey, you really have some great cancer coverage or great accident coverage. with us a few years ago. You remember that? No, maybe, yeah. Well, I just called. I just want to touch base with you and see if we owe you any money from that time.
Yeah.
Maybe you had some type of procedure done, or you had just a wellness check. And they're like, oh, well, and then that's when I start going into, well, there's been some changes. We've moved to Series 6 now. And, I just kind of start blending in and working into another demo with them, and that's how I survived. I mean, was just doing term notice calls on people that I don't know them. I mean, they weren't my clients. They were just people, in South Carolina and, that I just, I knew, or I didn't know them, but some of them I did in my home county and hometown. But that was huge. That was a huge benefit.
Yeah, no, Greg, I'd worked that avenue also. I think for a lot of us, that's how we got through COVID. For the initial,
and it's funny because y'all were used to working in the field, and then the whole Zoom thing came about, so it was kind of like shell shock. And then I'm coming into it, don't know Zoom, had to learn it, but that's where I started out. And then I was scared to death to go into the field.
I know you kind of had the opposite experience of a lot of us. So. Greg, kudos for figuring it out. Okay, so get back to our trust. Trust can be a willingness to take a risk, to be vulnerable, but at the end of the day, that trust, being willing and able to take a risk and be vulnerable, is what leads us to our success. So we think about all day long, every day, what are we doing? We're vulnerable. Right? We're taking a risk. We're getting out of our car. We're walking into a door. We have no idea what's going to happen. So we're trusting the system. We're trusting ourselves. And on the flip side, what are our clients doing? Right? They don't know us before we walk in. Think about it. What it's kind of weird. We meet somebody and 20 minutes later, half hour later, they're giving basically what's a stranger their account numbers. That's a lot of trust. They're putting their faith and trust that their family is going to be okay in the event of something terrible happening in us and in Family Heritage, but more in us. I've had a lot of business come over this summer from another organization, another company, solely because the clients did not trust that company or that other agent would be there. The comment was, we can't even get a hold of them for something minimal. Can we really trust them if our family's going through cancer? They're going to be there. Has any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Trish. I can second that about the working with clients that have coverage with other companies and their thoughts on being able to trust an insurance agent, from wherever. But I recently had a client that was in ICU for 9 days, and she had an Aflac plan also. And while I was helping her with her claim, she reached out to me and asked me a few things about how to do her Aflac paperwork, because she reached out to her agent and she knew nothing. Same agent told her, if you need anything, call me, I'll help you with it. And then when it came down to it, she knew nothing.
Yep, because we'll do a whole nother day on the Aflac versus us. Mm-hmm. But I will say, I think Aflac's going to put a bounty on my head this summer. And it's not so much Aflac, it's their agents not following through.
Well, I think a lot of that too, Trish, is the fact that from the people I talk to down here, it's a different agent every year. So it's not like there's any consistency. And then when they have a question, they're calling, they're talking to somebody that knows nothing about the sale that was made by the other agent. It's just a lot of folks down here don't like them. So that's not really a hard sell over Aflac.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Usually, again, guys, we'll take that we'll take a whole day on that. But usually it didn't happen to me yesterday. Yesterday was kind of the odd occurrence. I'm still not quite sure what happened at my yesterday, other than it's going to next week. But no, absolutely. No, Aflac, I don't think they don't have a lot of integrity. Let's just put it this way. They tend not to have a lot of integrity. And what I've heard is that comes down to not so much the agents, but that the company doesn't support the agents.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So as we talked about, propensity, which is a willingness to take a risk. It's a willingness to be vulnerable. That's what drives trust. We have to be just like Greg told Josie, you have to be willing to step out of that airplane. Have to be willing to get out of your car. Somebody has to be willing to give us a few moments. So without that initial willingness, the rest of the process isn't going to start. So what I've come up with my research, and I actually do a little bit of research, guys, for these calls, is there's 3 parts to trust. One, we have to have the ability, perceived benevolence, and then integrity. So the ability, we don't have to be, but again, this is another call we'll get to. Ability doesn't have to be so much your great sales skills, but to me, it goes back to more knowing your product. Think about like a car salesman. They have great sales skills and they know their product, but are we comfortable with them? We're probably more comfortable with someone that we actually believe, yes, knows their product, but has that perceived benevolence that we actually really care about that family. The last part, integrity, pretty simple. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Only say what you know you can do. So ability is having the skills you say you have, and then actually doing what you say you're going to do. So how can we show our ability as sales professionals? We've talked about this, guys. Be knowledgeable. Keep our promises. And ensure that families believe that we're going to be there for them in some of the hardest parts and times of their lives. Guys, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, just real quick, Trish. I just I did it was kind of a quasi enrollment yesterday at this little used car dealership. Brought them a couple of pizzas in, and it was actually the owner is actually the one that I demoed first 2 days ago. And he was on fire about it, and he had so many questions. He started off very defensive, so I just kind of played it real loose. And I went through it, and things started tripping in his head. He started asking a bunch of questions. I'm responding to him. And it's funny because, in the car business, sometimes you'll get these questions. The guy's asking me like, well, if we do like a group thing, with 8 or 9 employees or something, is it cheaper? No, it's not, unfortunately. But I'm honest with him, and that's what he said. He said, I just appreciate you being honest with me, man.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm not going to lie to you, guy, because I've got to live with you as a client, man. I'm not going to put myself in a corner where I can't, prove what or perform with what I say I'm going to be able to do. So,
right. And Greg, I'm sure we've all been there. Sometimes we have to give an answer that we know is not the answer that person's looking for. But is it more important for us to give a truthful answer or to give the answer they're looking for to get them to buy? I mean, like take the accident plan. Right? We have to be clear. It is not an emergency room plan. Right? It is a go get checked out because you have an injury. Right? So how many of on the call have had somebody think the accident plan is an emergency room plan? Hey, I go to the emergency room, I'm going to get paid. Is that an easy conversation to have to explain to somebody that just because they went to the emergency room with a sore throat, that they're not going to get paid when they thought they were?
Yeah, it's totally not. And I'll say it's very important that you are clear with it. Even like our cancer plan that has or the ICU that has, ambulance benefits. I've had and sometimes it's not you not being clear, but that's why I'm saying it's important that you are clear, and you can say consistently that every single client that you speak with and enroll, when you leave, they should understand that day what that product covers. Now, 10 days from now, 5 years from now, 6 months from now, maybe not, line for line, but they should have a general idea. Now, having a conversation with someone that thinks they went to the emergency room and their policy, covers it, that's because it's the emergency room. That's not an easy conversation, regardless of whether they just misunderstood or weren't paying attention or whatever. Because
and sometimes what I find is people believe what they want to believe. They have a story in their head that fits their situation.
yeah,
Right, how about return of premium? Oh, Trish said they're going to pay me return of premium every year. Right.
Or they think they can call and cancel and get their money back.
Exactly. Yeah. Because again, and those I think what I find, and Ken, you can help with this because you've been here, Josie, covering those things in your initial demo and just being clear up front. Right.
Yeah.
Don't when I explain return of premium, right then and there, I talk about, hey guys, this is 25 years. You can kind of explain it in a way that makes sense. We do have to give Mr. Lewis a lane of time to run a company. Premiums are invested in bonds. That's why it's 25 years. And they go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Versus skipping over the 25 years because it might be easier. Right? It would be easier if they thought it was a payback every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But that's not going to help us in the end.
No.
Right? No, we don't want to get calls from customer service saying, this person said you said. All right, this is a little bit off topic.
And Trish, real quick, I don't know who had the scenario, but I heard it sometime back about this mother that had a daughter who went to the ER, thought she had the flu or something, and she called the agent up, and the agent's like, it's not a, and I always stress that this is not a health policy. We have nothing to do with health insurance. And I use that as an example. If I'm doing an accident policy, I just tell my friend that story. I'm like, yeah, this, I had one of the clients that called in one of the other areas and thought that they were covered, for a flu. And I actually had one of mine do the same thing. She went in and got a COVID test and called me up and said, how do I get reimbursed for this COVID test? I'm in the ER. She sent me a picture of the band on her arm. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, well, let's look at it like this. I said, I was up front with them to begin with, but again, people's, what we say to them and how they perceive it may be two different things. And you don't necessarily know that at the time, but she's cool with it. I just told her, I said, look, if you wind up in ICU, if you have COVID, yeah, I'm there for you. I got your back. But
absolutely,
if it's just you went in for a COVID test, we don't do health insurance, like I said. And she said, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, because people forget.
Yeah. Right. No, they forget. And I think at the end of the day, they appreciate our being willing to be honest, right? Because even with ourselves, being honest can be being vulnerable, right? We're risking them canceling, we're risking them not taking the policy, which would, hurt us. But we don't want to make false promises.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's going to help build our integrity, not only in how we feel about ourselves, but how they feel about us. I think they appreciate it. If somebody asks me a question and I'm really not sure, or even if I know it's probably going to be an answer they really don't want to hear, I tell them, you know what, let's get the experts on the phone. Let's call claims directly. Put them on the phone so they can hear it from someone else. And the home office is more than happy. They would prefer us doing that. Take the 5 minutes, do a 3-way call. Because that's demonstrating that we care, right? We're our general concern is not coming from our ego, and our first concern is how to do best for them and their family.
And Trish, you know what else that does is it shows them, because I always talk about how great our customer service is. It actually shows them how quick they get somebody to answer their call.
Absolutely, absolutely, Greg. Absolutely, guys, take the time. Guys, we're going to kind of skip over well, we've talked a little bit about it. So integrity is basically doing what we say we're going to do. Step into the shoes of our client. Separate ourselves from our competition. I think it all comes down to treating that family the way we want to be treated. Any thoughts on that? All right, guys, I know some of this we would talk about before I get to my slides, so thank you.
A lot of people talk a good game, don't they? They say they're going to do this and that. But when push comes to shove, they disappear. When it's game time, they're nowhere to be seen. They say they're going to be the greatest ever, but their work ethic shows average effort. They say they're going to be rich or famous, but their habits are poor and ordinary. Talking is not enough. You must do. Talking is not enough. You must put in the work. You must develop the habit of following through with your word. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. It's called integrity. When you honor your word, you build pride for yourself and respect from others. When you don't, when you talk the talk and never walk, you lose pride and you lose respect. Repeat to yourself every day. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If I give my word, I do it. If I talk it, I will walk it. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If I give my word, I do it. If I talk it, I will walk it. When it gets hard, I gave my word. If something comes up, I gave my word. I will get it done. I don't even have to think twice. I get it done. I will get it done. Talkers talk. Walkers walk. Don't tell them what you're going to do. Show them what you've done. Let your results speak for you. Results say more than words ever will. Keep your word. Do the work. Get the results. Game time. This is my word. I've said it. Now I will do it.
Guys, I'd love to keep going, but maybe the rest of it we can kind of save. Last week we did talk about vulnerability and courage. So I hope this was a little bit of a good follow-up to last week's. Guys, any closing thoughts? And I really appreciate the conversation today.
Let's just go out there and be a blessing to someone else. It's Friday, thank God.
Friday,
We got a big week ahead of us next week, so we got to refuel over the weekend.
Yep, guys, real quick, I'm talking about next week for Founders Week, which, you know, is an absolute way we can honor Mr. Lewis. And anybody have any thoughts or want to share what they've been doing to get ready for next week?
Set enrollments.
Set enrollments. Yep. Yep, that was the one thing yesterday when that business that I thought was going to be my week kind of they were more into the lunch and learn and share and do the follow-up next week. I was like, okay, it's going to Founders Week, so I'll be all right with that. But absolutely, Greg, set enrollments, set guys as many appointments as you can. There's still a numbers game with enrollments. Enrollments never cancel, right? Right, Ken? Right, Josie? They always keep their appointments.
Yep.
Every single
You can count on them. 100%.
100%, especially when you've bought 10 pizzas or actually yesterday I did the sandwiches from Walmart. Thank you, Todd, for that. That was a great one. Because who loves when you walk in with 10 pizzas and they're like, oh, we forgot you were coming.
Somebody got to eat this pizza.
That's right, guys. No, seriously, it's even those are a numbers game. The more you can pack it in, overpack it. It will work out okay.
Yeah.
You know, Trish, I'll tell you this. Before I go buy pizzas, I call them that day.
Good for you.
And just say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, man, I'm going to be coming by with those pizzas. Do they like pepperoni or pepperoni mushroom?
That's a good way to do
Yeah.
it, Greg.
Those are two
And-
positives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think, Greg, too, you're being presumptuous with that call.
Mhm.
And hey, you're even showing them you care, right? You're going to bring in what they want, not what you pick.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're spending it to help you a little bit, which is a-okay. That's the magic of it, right? They don't always realize we're doing things to help ourselves. They think we're doing it to help them. All right, guys. And today is only Friday. Some of us, like myself, are not having the week that we thought we were going to have. But the good news is, our work day doesn't end at 4 o'clock. We do have the weekend. Like, I know Blake has appointments tomorrow. I have an appointment tomorrow so far. So guys, let's go show Brad and Van and Kyle the great stuff we can do. And if anybody asks, we had a half an hour call, right?
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
That's right, guys. No,
We got your back, Trish. We got your back, dear.
Thank you. Well, guys, I'm going to stop recording.